Hey you, it's because I love you so much that I tell you this. Your burpee sucks.
Secretly, I know you love it. What?
Can a burpee be awesome? Like this? Squats?
Good.
Planks?
Good.
Push-ups?
Good. What's not to like?
Can something so ugly become beautiful? Can something so hated become cherished? Can something so dumb?
It's gonna keep your legs in a straighter position, so when you go to execute that third and final step, all we have to do is stand up, carry your hands over our head, jump and clap.
Become not dumb at all? Maybe even smart. Can you think of another exercise that has de-evolved over time? The common historical trajectory for most exercises is improvement. We make exercises better over time, so they have a better effect on us. Over the years in the gym, we experiment and tweak every exercise until it has maximum positive effect on our system, at least in theory. The burpee has somehow fallen victim to a decline in purpose. What started life as an already questionable fitness assessment has transmogrified into something even more diabolic. The lowest of movement quality practices parading as an important high-rep performance enhancer, which is simply code for calorie burning in a less guilty about vanity, hopeful fantasy about our bodies sort of way. Once we stop exercising with calorie burning as a major goal, our lives will change for the better. I guarantee it. We'll talk about that some other time though. Wow, nature agrees. Meanwhile, why does your burpee suck so bad? It's like you take a wonderful classic yoga asana and screw it up as bad as you can over and over again, and that's the point. I'm a fan of good movement. Yep. I think you are too.
Yeah,
I think
kinda,
you've
sorta.
built a reputation around that. And so, to me, it's a really well done squat into a really well done plank.
No.
You want to do a push-up? Sure.
No.
You want to add a jump? Sure, but that's the template. The template is a good squat into a good plank and back.
Nice.
The transfer of shapes, because the squat shape and the plank shape are a little different. So I want a good squat shape and a good plank shape. And the transfer between the two, and what you do from there is up to you. I've been trying to rebrand the burpee as a squatty plank, because that has a ring to it. The burpee, or squatty plank, can aid in movement performance. It can increase your ability to squat.
Good.
It can increase your ability to plank and do push-ups.
Good.
It can increase your mobility. It can increase your explosiveness. You can find all the gaps in your strength and actually use the burpee as a template, that burpee template, to train those weaknesses.
Here are some classic faults that we see in the burpee. One big one is that people will tend to squat down to start and finish the movement.
Squats?
Good.
A lot of times this has to do with lack of hamstring flexibility.
She hits the bottom. Really important piece here, she peels up. She doesn't do a push-up. So now she's in this position with her elbows locked out, her hips sagging to the ground.
Now here's the super exciting part. If you're willing to put the effort into actually strengthening the burpee, in other words, increasing your squat ability, increasing your landing ability, increasing all the abilities, push up, jump, etc., then when you speed it up, you'll actually be faster than the sloppy version, no matter how fast you try to do the sloppy version. So if you are still in the protocol of practicing fast burpees for time, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and this is how it manifests. I'm going to show you, I'm going to break down the two separate burpees, and you'll see how doing it well will actually be faster. So if you compete in that sport of fitness, you can actually do better by doing it better.
Fuck is this? Radio was in the pit, so our parents on the sound.
Watch how much faster this is. 2 parts into the squat jump rather than 3 parts. So if you have that power to be able to pop up off the ground athletically, then it's going to be much faster anyway.
So let's talk about what a good burpee looks like. Every burpee, you want to see our chest and thighs touch the floor and the feet kick back together.
The ability to flop and squirm has very little transfer to the rest of your athleticism. But, and this is where we get into what a burpee should be, if it's a squat into a plank. You can add a jump, you can add a push-up, but the basics being a squat and a plank. If you have the transfer of shapes, the squat shape into a plank shape, which I've talked about in multiple videos, that's athleticism. The transfer from a shape to another shape, from a movement to another movement. So not only do you build the athleticism of transferring between the two, but you get all the benefits of actual good squats and actual good planks. And you have the opportunity to turn them into more things, which we'll get into, how to manipulate your burpee and transform your burpee into something even greater.
Many different ways that you can reframe this movement and expand beyond just what we think of a burpee, meaning that it has to be a push-up, it has to have a jump in there, it has to whatever be done a gazillion times.
It could be a template to work on what you need to work on. In fact, it should be.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm guessing most of us don't need to work at hinging at the hips, flopping to the ground, and squirming back up.
Yeah.
That's not something.
Yeah.
That's not something we need to make permanent in our day or in our lives. You can modify the speed in different directions for multiple goals. The burpee can be a multi-level skill builder, which is what we try to practice here at Bodytribe. Remember the hierarchy. We're trying to build skills, and to get there we have to practice movements, and sometimes to get better at movements we have to work specific muscles. The burpee actually has a lot of movement and potential muscle building built right into it. If done well, that can lead to greater skills, which leads to us being able to do more stuff, which leads to us being able to look at the world and go, I want to go out there, I want to do stuff. Because that's the 3 Ps. When you're precise, present, and purposeful, you're taking whatever you do in your training and helping it affect all of your movement practice. Because hopefully your training is not the sum total of your movement practice, right? It's day 3 or 4 of car camping, which is why I look like this, but I still want to talk about the burpee today. And when I say fall, I mean land. Anybody can fall. It's the landing we're really concerned about. But again, practice makes permanent. Why should we be making slop permanent? At no point should we ever learn to land like this. And yet, this is how you see people land from their burpee jump. Up, boom. Which is what a modern burpee seems to think a fall and a landing is.
We don't want to see a squat like this.
Come on now. Land like a ninja kitten. Softly, with bent knees. Just add the knees. Bend. And try to keep your shape. Try not to let your spine completely collapse. Oh my! Look where you are. In the perfect position to then put your hands down and go into that plank. Push up optional, whatever, and then come back to your squat. Up. Land in that squat. Even from up high. That's how you land. In fact, especially from up high. So the burpee is a prime example to increase your athleticism, particularly in the landing department, among other things.
We don't want to see a squat like this.
I once heard the word flop used to teach a burpee.
She hits the bottom.
We should never be practicing a flop. That's a landing gone wrong. Unless, of course, watch any skilled martial artist or parkour practitioner or stunt person to see that there is an art to falling. There is a practice to falling properly, to landing properly. Landing's gonna look a little bit like a burpee anyway, because my hands are gonna come down to the ground. Land better. Hologram. Boom, 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 boom. Up, land better. And the burpee gives us a chance to practice it regularly. Nice and control. Boom, 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 boom. Into your squat. I'm seeing that chance wasted all the time.
Secretly, I know you love it. One.
I'm not going to demonstrate bad technique jumping off that. Practice makes permanent, which brings up two important points. First, what are we trying to make permanent? What do we value that we want to be permanent in our lives? That's right, our training should reflect our value system. If we value things like respect, love, appreciation, but our training is abusive, disconnecting, obligatory, then you can see there's a lack of correlation between our training and our value system. That could be a harsh reality, but it's not hard to fix. I've talked about purposeful training in multiple videos. If you need a link to one of those, I'll throw it up right here. And second, if we can pinpoint our value system and what we want to make permanent, what are we practicing? Take a look at your own training. Does it actually reflect your value system, or are you sort of convincing yourself that it does?